Good afternoon. Today we move past the halfway point of the season, and so far, it has to be said, it's been eventful. A potential four-way fight for the title is brewing, and we have a new team joining us today out of the ashes of an old one. Welcome to round 8 of the World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship 2023. We are at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. My name's Ash Baker, and today we are not joined by Robin Schumann. Robin has commentated on every single race so far, but he's having a well-earned rest. But fear not, we are joined by someone who not only has experience in the virtual commentary box, but as of the last round, experience in these cars as well as a sub for Better Julia. Welcome, Aleksandar Knezevic. Alex, how are you?
Thank you for that very nice introduction. I'm very good, and I'm hoping to see a good race again today.
Absolutely. So qualifying is starting any second now, but before we go into that, let's have a little preview of where we're racing today. Welcome to the historic Spa-Francorchamps, a circuit that started life in 1921 as a 15km road course and has evolved through the years to become a 7km Grade 1 circuit that's no less feared and respected in equal measure. Let's go for a lap with SCMM's Gino Gagliano. As we pass the start-finish, the roar of the engine echoes through the Ardennes forest, launching the cars into action through La Source, all the way down to first gear, clip the apex, and then get it straightened up because it's full power as we blast down the hill to take on one of the best sections in motorsport history, Eau Rouge and Radion. Taking it completely flat, the focus is on car position to ensure we carry the maximum amount of speed onto the Kemmel Straight, potentially reaching around 330 km/h. The Kemmel Straight provides a moment to breathe, but don't lose focus as we approach Lake Com, where the drivers skillfully brake and downshift from 8th to 3rd gear, demanding precise car control and positioning to set up for the following left-right combination. It's a delicate balance between maintaining momentum and avoiding any missteps that can compromise speed onto the next straight. Rushing through Bruxelles, keep it tight, allow the car to run out to the left, and then move back to the right of the track so you can take no name. Who on up next, which you could also possibly take at full throttle too. The key here is to hit the apex, because if you miss it, you'll end up over the curbs on the right, losing a big amount of time. Up next is a series of mid-speed corners called La Fagna and Campus. Don't take them too tightly, otherwise the car tends to oversteer a lot. Gino just regulating the throttle, keeping the speed up without overcooking it. Up next, the fast right-hander of Stavelot, which brings us onto the home stretch, and to Blanchimont, another full throttle corner. This section promises a lot of action, and by the end of the straight, top speeds of around 320 km/h. Then we arrive at the world-famous bus stop chicane. Brake hard, down to 2nd gear, and be sure to clip the apexes of both corners, and then allow the car to run out to the right of the main straight, full throttle, and that's a wrap around the mighty Spa. See you Sunday. And as you could see from the track day video, it was looking a little bit grey, and we have an interesting forecast for you. And you know, Spa is in the Ardennes Mountains. It very typically has changeable weather conditions, and we've got that for you today. So WMSC always issues a forecast for each race. It's based on the statistical data of the location in the respective month, and prepared by neutral persons. And today, qualifying cloudy with a slight chance of drizzle, whereas the slightly, I would say, open to interpretation weather forecast for the race is always a chance of drizzle. So that's going to give the teams a little bit to think about. We're not going to be at the levels of F1 2021 rain, but there's going to be a spanner in the works this afternoon, quite potentially from the heavens.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it will mix it up if the rain comes.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, this is a track where going into it, we were expecting Holland racing team to be very dominant. But when the rain comes, you want a car with downforce. And that's where some of their rivals, are much stronger.
Yeah, for sure.
And a quick look at the driver standings, and a potential four-way fight for the title could be brewing. Yannis Walborn manages to extend his lead at the top, not through victory last time out, but through the Dramatic demise of Max Riedmuller, getting frustrated behind him on the streets of Monaco. There's highlights of that race before the start of this one. If you missed it, it was a hell of a race around Monaco. So Max Riedmuller just slightly losing ground. Philip Pushka is now in the fight level on points. Pascal Poland's Waldborn's teammate missed out last time, but still very much in the mix. Whereas Ruven Meshida, after missing the first few rounds of the championship, has performed very well. Looked like he was going to win last time out in Monaco, but fortunately had to settle for second. He's up to fifth and will look to try and close the ground of those four ahead of him. In constructors, it's much more cut and dry. Holland Racing Team, they've been so consistent all season long. Even their substitute, Owen McGorgy, was fantastic last week and, still got very good points for them. So they hold a very comfortable lead at the top. They've almost got double the amount of their nearest rivals, Maniti Racing and Epic Basilia. SCMM in fourth, Better Julian fifth. Watch out for Optimal, as we've said. Before Ruven Meshida joined them, they were down in eighth and kind of all right, they're in amongst that bottom pack, but they're starting to work their way up. They've got two drivers in the field today, including, of course, Ruven Meshida. So they might pick up a couple of places. They might be fourth by the end of the day. We'll see how that goes. But for now, qualifying, I believe, has started. So we can now join the action on track. And so at the minute, it's looking quite misty. Track wetness is at 5 to 15%. It's going to be important for them to try and get a time in as early as possible. Riedmuller, the early pace setter at the minute by 0.3 of a second. But obviously, you don't know if the rain is going to get worse. So obviously, you want to try and get a time in with the track at its driest.
Yeah, for sure. But it still could stay dry and the track will improve by the end. So, yeah, I mean, you should just drive as much as you can this session.
And we are on with Pascal Poland, who has gone purple in the first sector. Clearly, obviously not setting a real competitive marker down. His previous best was 2.4 seconds away. So this might be a bit more representative. The Holland Racing Team guys, as we say, the ones to watch this afternoon go on board Rue Blanchimont.
It must be said that the guys are burning off fuel at the moment, so if it stays dry, the representative lap times are coming at the end.
Oh, absolutely, and it's always the thing. They start on race fuel. Poland's going third there, and Waldborn going immediately taking it. And the times do definitely seem to be tumbling as Lucas Murner goes into third, so it's almost like the track is improving at this point. So we have a newcomer there, Jassa Lahtinen.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to point out. We got a new team, which is a nice sight, getting the grid full finally.
Yes, I believe this is going to be the first race where all 20 slots are full. We're going to have everyone on track today. It's going to be fantastic to see. And we have a bit of an AlphaTauri Red Bull situation as Gino Gajano, who's racing for SCMM today and also their owner, has bought out the Streamline Racing team and fielded them now. They've basically taken on that entry, though, so they have the initial car design and they're in as Potenza Esport course. Their lineup is Jassa Lahtinen and Noah Tumelo, but Noah isn't with us today, so it would usually be an all-Finnish lineup. Here is the other driver, Brody Lawless, a British driver. I'm not sure if that is Brody's real name, but regardless, what a name it is, and he's driving like an outlaw on the exit of Stavelot. Be interesting to see how these guys do today.
Yeah, what I'm noticing is that the track, I think, is still at least damp in some parts. The color of the tarmac is different.
But maybe some people getting caught out by some of the damp patches on the circuit. Where Brody comes across the line. Yeah, he doesn't move, rather unsurprisingly, after that off on the back end of the circuit.
This moment is just important, to keep going around the track, burn off that fuel, and if it stays dry, try to get one lap in at the end with fresh tires.
Absolutely, because it's not they always start on the race fuel of their first lap. It's not like they have to start on the race fuel at the end of the session. So they're not really going to penalise themselves for the race by just running as much as possible in qualifying, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I'm just, surprised by that the cars are running nose to tail of each other. It seems that they are not managing to find free space at the track.
Which is surprising. This is I think probably the longest lap on the calendar. So there's not like there isn't space out there for them to do so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the longest track on the calendar. It seems that they're struggling more with that here than it was at Monaco. There were, I don't think, any penalties for blocking or something.
So Lucas Murno did end up getting one for the race. So we got caught off guard by the start of the race last time out due to a lack of formation lap. But Lucas Murno essentially ended up blocking Max Riedmüller on his final run. So he got a 3-place grid penalty, which he did serve at the start of the last race. So there's no penalties coming into this one. But Lucas did end up blocking Max Riedmüller on what might have been quite a vital lap and could have changed his whole afternoon. Being stuck behind his rival. And, we were talking before the race, obviously, you drove last time out for Better Julia. You had a very similar experience, it had to be said, getting stuck in traffic.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. It was like a Jensen Button comeback moment. You just needed to keep your cool, and that's what I, didn't do, which is quite uncommon for me. But when you do like one race, to jump in, you don't want to drive behind somebody all the time. And I mean, it was one mistake too many in the end. And I think Aaron Curtis, got the final point in that case, and very well done.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, the track is definitely evolving in front of us. Philip Pushka going quickest by a second. Murno into second place. We've got the Kostec of Philip Fekler. Kostec, the only team not to have scored points so far this season. Fekler running up in sixth. That's great so far, but I feel like there's plenty more times to come. Paolo Willami, another new driver today. He's the sixth driver to take the wheel for Scuderia Cesario. He is the permanent replacement for Lorenzo Turi. Turi had a few issues. And, their season's definitely not gone to plan. Great lap from Willami up into fourth. But, yeah, they were expected to be up much higher. Turi took the first ever pole position in the tournament. And it's not really gone to plan since then. So let's hope that Willami can bring some results for them.
Yeah, the problem was with Lorenzo that it just didn't have the motivation in the end. And, it's better, to put somebody in a car that... likes to drive these cars, and it just happens. For the team, obviously, it wasn't perfect because if you got like driver changes all the time, you have no consistency, and it showed in the results for Cesario.
Very true. And obviously, we had the moment where they fielded no cars, I think, early in one race of the season, but. Good to see them all back, as we say. Good to see a full grid of 20 cars. Gonzalez Cativo wins subby again for Maniti Racing. Comes across to go second, 2/10. And it looks like the sun is coming out. It's looking a little bit bright. So actually, it seems like the track's about to, develop. So I think everyone's going to be in a rush to just keep putting laps in. And Philip Fekler going fastest. But so I think over the next 8 minutes, we're going to see times tumble. And it's only going to be who can time it the best, I think, at the end for where things end up, because it seems like everything's just improving.
Yeah, for sure. It also depends, if you put on maybe fresh tires. I think in the dry, the cars that have low downforce will be, in a better position. But if it goes to rain, guys like Riedmüller and so on, they could go up to the front.
Yeah, it really, really could be very interesting depending on what happens with terms of rain in the race itself. We know that the straight line speed of those Holland Racing Team cars is pretty special.
But, we noticed in Monaco too. Even Kostec, they have good straight line speed. I think they will be good here. Maybe first point on the horizon.
It would be good to see. It really would. It would be fantastic to see that. And also, if hopefully the new boys on the grid
Potenza Esport Corsa. Hopefully they can have a good debut as well. Follow Aaron Curtis through Francorchamps up to the bus stop chicane. He's gone purple, then green. Here we can go. This hopefully looks like he's slung for an improvement. Guides it around the final corner. A little bit of a shake, power down. And up to 7th. So a decent improvement, but definitely more to come.
It's interesting to see where he's losing the time. He was fastest in the first sector, but a lot slower in the second. Oh.
Oof. Well, that's very considerate, I think, of Brodie Lawless there to get out of the way. Obviously not wanting to impede people on fast laps after he finishes one, going up to 10th. Noticing that Holland team, as Fragotto goes quickest. I was about to say Holland team racing haven't put many laps in, but here we go. Yannis Walborn is out now. Interesting they've decided not to just consistently run, as you've said. They seem to be just biding their time at the minute.
Not sure if they're turning down the engine or whatever. 5 seconds off is a lot. I'm not sure what exactly they are doing, but I would expect him to go purple in the first sector right now, and he does by a lot. I think 7/10. Yeah. And now the question is the second sector. How much time do they lose there?
In terms of updates, pretty much all teams, with the exception of, I believe, Infernal Void, have brought top speed upgrades because of the next couple of tracks being heavier on the top speed. You'd think that, with Holland Team Racing, their design philosophy at the start of the season was to have a quicker car. You think they'd bring downforce, but no, they have gone for top speed again. As we come through Lefania and then towards campus, we come to the end of the second sector. Let's see if Yannis Walborn is still purple. A little bit wide at the apex there. So it's only green, but it's an improvement. Let's see what he can do again. A big straight in this final sector. Up to the floor.
At the moment, he's up by 1/10, and it's Riedmüller in first place, somebody that would be fast in the second sector.
Pascal Poland's his teammate goes up to 3rd. What can Yannis Walborn do? Looking a little bit unstable through the final chicane, but he's got it round. Is it going to be quickest? It is, by 0.2 of a second. Like you say, that middle sector is where he's losing the time, but it more than makes up for it in the first and the third.
Yeah, that's just like I expected them, to be around the track. First and third sector, they are the fastest, losing a lot in the second sector. It may be enough now in qualifying, but it must be said too that they are probably struggling a lot more with the tires. So interesting to see what happens.
Lucas Murdo now, currently running in 7th. He's had a solid season. Started well and seems to have improved week on week. Now a regular in the points.
Yeah, he was very strong in Monaco, it must be said. With the penalty, he still managed, I think, to finish 6th. So
it's an incredible result. He had the grid penalty, the time penalty in the race, and lost the wing at one point. So to come home 6th is quite.
He also had some shenanigans with me, so I know that he did a good race. He's pretty fast, just interested to see where Curtis will compare to him this time out.
As we're talking there, Reuven Meshida. Oh, and Murdo decides to bail out of that one, but Reuven Meshida has gone to pole position 0.3 of a second quicker. Meshida, he was miles away in Monaco. He was away and done with it. Then a few late safety cars, one mistake, and unfortunately he missed out on a win last time out, but a solid pole position. Could he be in the frame again? He's gone quicker, purple in the first sector. Let's see how we can knit it together in the middle sector.
The guys will be going for fresh tires now, so I expect more or less everybody to go into the pits now.
Do you think Reuven will back out of this one?
He probably won't. I think he will try to finish this one, maybe try a second one if the tires hold up. I've heard from some drivers that the super softs aren't that much faster than the mediums. I suspect that they are overheating. So let's see.
Philip Feckler again, showing that Costech seems to still be kicking it with the quicker cars. He's up only 2/10 behind Meshida. A hell of a result so far if you can stick around up there. Let's just see how much more. And track wetness has now dropped to 0 to 15%. It started at 5 to 15. So yeah, the track definitely drier.
Meshida will improve. Meshida will improve, but the question is, will it be enough against Wallborn and the like?
That looked like a very tidy final chicane. Gap goes to 6/10, 7/10 faster than Wallborn. That is good, but I'd be hesitant to say it's enough quite yet. There we go. Daniel Benson Reader immediately 4/10 quicker. The track definitely still developing. Brilliant result. So the final minute of qualifying here at Spa is going to be very interesting because the times are about to tumble once more. I think in the practice server, the times were getting down into the 1 minute 41s. So I think, yeah, we're still a way off of what the maximum potential is as Aaron Curtis goes up to 6th.
It also depends if you get a tow maybe from somebody. There is like a gaggle of cars there. It's not good if you want to drive fast.
Yeah, that's not going to help them at all. In a straight line, yes, but, you know, in the rest of the lap, not at all. Frigoto, though, on to provisional pole position, 1/10 clear. It was David Yunt, a winner yesterday in the AMC at Phoenix. Dylan Fisher up to 4th, only his second race of the season as a stand-in for Optimal. Yasser Lattinen, what can Yasser do? Inheriting the old streamlined car, and they've spent all the available dev points they have. No improvement there for Yasser.
Stays 18th. I'm surprised that Kativo doesn't improve. He's 1 second off the guy in front.
There was traffic somewhere on his lap or maybe an off, but the minute Frigoto is up in purple, but he's having to navigate a lot of slower cars as well. Pushka also faster in the first sector as Rene Vella goes up to 11th. There is just a big clump of cars on the timing screen, like in the middle, so they're all together. There's going to be a flurry of activity. Lucas Murno is hooked up right behind his teammate. Is that tactical? It might be.
Yeah, it is.
Very clever little move there. This could be a good lap for him.
Yeah, he needs to go up the places because he's down in 17th.
We go, Lucas Murno. Where's he going to qualify? Across the line. It's second, but that is still going to change. Here comes Filip Pushka. He's gone purple in both sectors so far. Pushka heading to the line. Poland's, though, takes provisional pole. Pushka takes it straight off him. Riedmuller, only 4th at the minute, which means there's another window for Yannis Wallborn. Is Wallborn on a lap? He is. Here he comes. And it is pole position for Yannis Wallborn. Is there anyone else who can stop him? I'm not sure. Here comes Dylan Fisher.
I don't think so, honestly.
That's it. I think that might be it. Bartosz, I think he's the last guy coming round. Managed to start a lap in time.
I don't think he will trouble for pole position, honestly.
Personal improvement, yes, but unfortunately it's not going to get him off the back row today. And once again, Max Riedmuller has not been able to get to the front row of the grid, which means the big opportunity today for Yannis Wallborn. Starting on the front row of the grid alongside Filip Pushka. Pascal Poland is in 3rd. Gustavo Frigoto, his second race for SCMO and his 3rd race of the season, 4th. An excellent result for him. Riedmuller in 5th. He's going to want to try and at least get himself into the top 4 of that start. Lucas Murno in 6th. Daniel Bensreeder in 7th. Dylan Fisher, what a return for him after some races away. He's out-qualified his teammate Ruben Meshida. Great work. Gino Gajardo in 10th. That's 2 SCMM cars in the top 10. Philip Fekler, 11th. Still a solid result. He's been up there for most of the session. He's been shufted down, but he's firmly in the middle of the pack. Lots could happen. Aaron Curtis in 12th. Denny Vella in 13th. David Yunt, solid performance for Epic Basilia there. And then Rene Vella in 15th. The debut for Paolo Willami, he's 16th. The 2 new Potenza Esport Corsa drivers together, Brody Lawless and Yasser Lattinen, Gonzalez Kativo, another sub-in for Maniti Racing, and Bartosz Karpata bringing off the field. So we could be in for a very interesting race once again. There is the question of weather, and there's obviously championship permutations. And when we get into the second half of the season, we have to think about the wider context. So we will see how it goes. We will rejoin for the race very shortly. But very first, up next, we're going to have a little look back at what happened in Monaco. We'll see you very soon for the race. And you join us once again on the formation lap of round 8 of the World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship. Welcome back. Formation laps are working again, so that's good news. And we are about to head round, and we come back with an incredible bit of news. Max Ried-Muller, the main championship contender, alongside Philip Puška and Janis Volborn, has been given a grid penalty. So the top two, Volborn and Puška from Poland and Frigoto. Then Murno is promoted to 5th as Benson Reed up to 6th, Fisher up to 7th, Max Ried-Muller a 3-place grid penalty for impeding someone on their qualifying lap. Ruben Mesheder is 9th, Gio Logano 10th, Philip Beckler an excellent result so far for the Costec. Let's see what he can do from there. Aaron Curtis is 12th in the other Infernal Void car. Denny Vella alongside David Junt for the next row. Rene Vella, hopefully the brothers won't come together when they're that far apart, alongside debutant Paolo Wallami. The two new boys, Potenza Esport Course, Brody Lawless and Yasser Lartanen, and then the back row, Gonzalez Kativo and Bartosz Karpata.
It was Danny Vella that Ried-Muller impeded. I even saw it live in the stream. He was like 2 laps in front of him. Not sure what happened there, but 3-place grid penalty doesn't help his championship hopes for sure.
No, absolutely not. But, as you were saying, there's, plenty of places for opportunity to overtake here. So hopefully he can work his way back up. But he's given himself quite a task, especially when Walborn has got clear air ahead of him. And hopefully he can get away. Now, looking at the tyre situation, as ever, there is a choice that the teams have to make ahead of the event of 2 sets of tyres, either the more aggressive super soft and mediums or the soft and hard combination. From what I can tell, the top 3 have all gone for the more aggressive set and they're running mediums. Frigoto is on the hards. Then we have Lucas Murno on the mediums. In fact, it's mediums all the way down to Aaron Curtis. So most of them going for the medium super soft combination. As you were saying, Alex, that's probably going to be their tyre for the entire race if there's not much difference between those and the super softs.
Yeah, I think they will be running the mediums. We'll try probably to go for a 1-stop again, though I'm not sure if it will work here on this track without a safety car. But I still would take the tyre choice with a pinch of salt, as we've seen that it can change when the race starts. It's just a visual bug sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems to correlate with the timing screen, but if that does change, we will update you. Find out very soon as everyone heads around.
I would expect Poland to overtake Puška on the Camel Straight. I think he has a good chance to.
Be a Holland Racing Team 1-2 by the time we reach Les Combes. Bartosz coming up. The revs come up, the lights come on, and off we go in Spa-Francorchamps. It's a decent hold, and it looks like... it's not been the best of starts of all, but he's had to go a little bit defensive. Frigoto's done an incredible job. He's at the inside of Poland, but Poland seems to be hanging around the outside and has managed to get ahead of him. How racy is Frigoto going to be? I don't think so. He's on the harder tyre. He'll just want to get through cleanly and see if he can run longer than everyone else from this position. And it's okay. So Walborn has managed to hold on, but what can Puška do in the slipstream? Is he going to look into Les Combes? He does. Forces a defensive move from Janis Volborn. Any other moves into Les Combes, he just watches the field comes through. And everyone through cleanly. All 20 cars for the first time, and they're all still going. Fantastic to see. So, Walborn leads from Pushka from Poland. Rogoto just behind. Let's see how well he can do on those harder tyres compared to, say, Lucas Murno on the mediums behind. He's going to be an interesting touch point, as is Aaron Curtis further down on the softs. Going to be interesting to see in terms of grip, in terms of it looks like Poland's just getting a little bit wide outside of Puon, but he seems to be okay. Got Rogoto for company now. Max Riedmüller already up one position to 7th. Got Ruben Mescheder behind him, who I also imagine is going to be pretty quick at this point. Wanted to work his way back through the field.
I'm surprised that there were no incidents into turn 1. They all got through cleanly. I think there were some overtakes in the back of the field, like Cativo, Coppetta, and so on. They're changing places at the moment.
It is good to see that, everyone has made it okay. Well, how much progress can he make? This is going to be interesting.
Seems that Benton Reader is bunching them up a little bit behind.
Interesting. There's no DRS yet, but they all have push to pass. Interesting to see what moves can be done as we head down the Kemmel Straight. Lots of changes going on in the back there between Cativo and Lawless, but up the front, Pascal Poland is already right on the back of Philip Pushka. As he predicted, the straight line speed in Sector 1, there's just no answer for it, and Poland makes it a whole race. We 1-2! Benton Reader is having to go incredibly defensive to try and keep Riedmüller behind. He's fighting that one tooth and nail at the moment, and Gajano side by side with Mescheder.
Lawless got a penalty.
Well, that's interesting. So we've not heard anything from race directions. So that might mean it's been given out by the game, which possibly might be track limits.
Must have cut something really badly because it's too early to get like 3 or 4 warnings.
Yeah, it must have been an extreme cut of something. Max Riedmüller, though, up to 6th. He's passed Benton Reader. Very looking. I'd say he's almost maybe driving a little bit angry or a little bit frustrated at this point. He's going to be eager to catch up. He's up to 6th. He's got Murno next. Pushka, though, in the meantime, staying with Poland's. This is going to be the interesting thing now. This is going to be the first lap with DRS. Pushka is still with Poland's, but will that be enough? As Walborn sets the fastest lap, will that be enough for Pushka to get back at Poland's? Or will Poland's be able to defend comfortably? Here we go, the run down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radion.
I think he's got a chance. If he uses push to pass, he should be able to, at least try.
There's the activation line. DRS should be open now, and it is. Poland's not close enough to have it, so it's not like it's going to be cancelled out, but the gap is...
Did he make a mistake out of turn 1? I mean, he lost so much time going up to Rouge.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It didn't look like it, unless I missed that glancing at a timing screen, but...
It's just like Poland's, turn on a turbo or something and just throw away. I mean, he was like a lot closer going over the line.
Muller now trying to shut the gap to Murno. Mescheder at the minute not able to make as much headway. Seems to be he's having more trouble with Gino Gajano than he is making headway into getting past Daniel Benton Reader at the minute. Gajano looking very racy. This is for a points position, but obviously it's only lap 3 of 43, so no need to kind of go a little bit all out just yet.
The Optiminal car worked very well in Monaco, but I don't think that this track suits them at all.
Absolutely, they are more of a downforce heavy car. Mescheder up close. Let's see if we can have a look into La Source. He is very close indeed, but he might just wait. As you say, if it's not got the straight line speed, he might be a little bit stuck. Here we go.
I'm pretty interested to see how Benton Reader will defend, because I had the feeling that it was some bad blood between Riedmüller and Beta Julia now, as he blocked Danny Weller in qualifying.
He's picked his spot and stayed there. Can Meshida sweep round the outside of Lecom? And he does. Very nicely done. Smart move from Ruben Meshida. Let's see, though, importantly, he can get clear. Max Riedmüller now, right on the back of Frigoto, and Murno's gotten past Frigoto. We missed that. Obviously, Frigoto, he's on the harder tyre, so he might not be too bothered about racing these guys harder if he wants to run a bit longer than everyone else.
I think that Riedmüller is angry, as you said. He's running very wide at some point. Coppetta got the penalty too.
And this is the move. So, down the Kemmel Straight. Similar move to... Oh, it's not quite as clean, but just manages to get through. I think Frigoto had to very much bail out of that, otherwise there would have been contact.
Yeah, those two know each other from Monaco. But yeah, it's easier, to do it cleanly here. I think the race will settle down now a little bit. Maybe Riedmüller will get past Frigoto. Oh!
Whoa!
Mistake from Fischer.
Oh, Dylan Fisher, such a shame after a good qualifying session. Round at the bus stop. Rejoins without issue. And that's a shame. I was just looking at the back end. We've already had pit stops from Brody Lawless and Bartosz Karpeta, so guessing they maybe had some contact or some issues. As you said, Karpeta's been giving a penalty as well. On board with Yasser Latin, the Tenza Esport course, replacing Streamline Racing. This could be a chance for him to get up to 17th. DRS will be open now.
You get some slipstream from the car in front.
The move done.
At front, Volbon pulled out a nice gap. Poland's hands seem to shake off Puschke. He's still behind him.
Yeah, it does seem to be, as you say, it's opening out a little bit, but it's what Puschke can do. Will he be happy to sit behind him for now and then maybe try and do it at stops, or is he going to be wanting transition? Erno's not too far back down the road either.
Seems to be a good. I could imagine that Puschke is trying, just to keep Poland on his toes, maybe to overstress the tires, force him into an early pit stop.
Seen throughout the season so far, Poland Racing team incredibly quick, but time management not the best. We've just been heard warning from the race director. Gino Gagiano has a 5-second time penalty that will be added after the race. So there was no explanation for what that is. I imagine though that is some kind of unsavoury, either attacking or defending at some point. I mean, Benson Reader is now down in 10th. So I would hazard a guess it involves Daniel Benson Reader.
I would expect some dodgy defending. I experienced that myself in Monaco, and the stewards, put out a note that they will clamp down on that kind of behavior at this race. So yeah, we would need to see what happened there.
Yes, and it's confirmation through from one of the race directors now that it is for an incident with Daniel Benton Reader. Obviously, we missed that. Obviously, something has gone on between them.
Bad luck for the better.
Apologies for that interruption. Had a slight technical issue. We are back. Just returned to seeing a slightly sideways infernal void car. I think that might have been Curtis.
Do we still have the replay from Gigiano and Benrina? I'd like to see that if possible.
We will come back to that in a moment, as Curtis is very close through Malmedy. Not able to find a way through yet. Feckler, though, running in the points at the minute. He has got it up to 8th. The only team so far, with the exception of our new joiners today, to not score a point. So hopefully they can find something this afternoon.
I think he's got a good chance. Giugiano with a penalty. Peter Giulio out of position. The car is fast on the straight. Just needs to keep it together.
Oh, this is the moment. He's just not bailed out of it coming into Lake Com.
Yeah, I must say in that case, I wouldn't put the fault, completely on Giugiano there, but that's what the stewards have decided.
Would you say more racing incident?
It looked like, at least from that perspective, we would need to see it from the onboard, but it was fair enough to try to overtake there. It takes two always, to collide.
Oh, absolutely, as we see Jesse Lattinen in the pits for Tensor Esports. Debut team, debut driver.
Lawless has retired, it seems.
Oh, Brody Lawless in contention for one of the best names in racing is left us early.
Yeah, we didn't catch that. I think he just retired in the pits or something. And
are we down again?
Yeah. Just seems to be frozen right now. Finish? Yep. Just a moment.
We're running again. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Back with Jesse Lattinen.
The top 4 are running pretty closely, at least from 2nd to 4th. Walbon managing the gap. And Riedmüller seems not to be able to make any impression of Frigotto. Mesched is, I think, attacking. Yeah, Mesched overtakes Riedmüller.
Yeah, Walborn needs to just be careful with his tyres. He's got it in hand at the front. Doesn't need to try and burn through. Certainly don't want to waste time having one extra stop.
We're looking at one of the newcomers at least. I think it's the first blue car that we have on the grid. I know it's a nice change for once.
I'm very thankful there's not another red or green team because
a
there's already
reddish
enough
car,
of them.
yeah. Yeah, it was getting pretty boring with those color schemes.
Here we are. The battle for 2nd place. Philip Pushka just staying with Pascal Polens, and Lucas Murdo has reeled them in as well. We'll see if anyone's going to make any moves. But Frigotto, who's doing a very solid job on those hard tyres, in 5th. And we have a drive-through for Bartosz Karpet, who's in the pits at the minute. But unfortunately, he's crossed the pit entry line, so we'll receive a drive-through. So Bartosz, he finished 10th in Monaco, but a few laps down. He just kept going, but was unfortunately not really with the rest of the pack. And that seems to be potentially his afternoon today as well. Just keep going and see if he can pick up from other people's misfortune. Well, Mescheder and Frigotto seem to be exchanging places behind this group. I've got to say, Riedmüller is really struggling because Mescheder
Yeah, Meshida went up 2 places. I think that Frigoto made a mistake, you know, the gap is almost 1.5 seconds now.
New Max Reed Muller's car wasn't the best for this circuit in terms of it being more downforce heavy. Yeah, can't seem to get anywhere this afternoon, even on the quicker tyre versus Gustavo Frigoto. Or even Meshida, his recovery going very well now. He's up into 5th, already 1.3 ahead. If he can maybe bring himself into the front pack. Philip Feckler, though, still running in 8th, which is good to see. He's got Giuliano behind him. We had confirmed from earlier that Brody Lawless retired in the pits. Over there is Ruben Meshida in clear air. Now sets the fastest lap of the race. Little warning shot to the front group. But it's not quite over yet. Ruben Meshida is coming to play.
He just came out of nowhere, it seems.
Okay, this is an interesting one. So Frigoto now doesn't have DRS. Reed Muller does, but it's just not close enough. Gonna close right up to him through this middle sector, which is, you know, the part you'd expect Reed Muller to be the strongest. Is he going to be able to try and make anything happen? He's right up behind him through Brussels.
I think that Riedmüller could already be struggling with the tires. You know, he pushed really hard in the beginning.
Fortunately, it's only gotten him one place from where he started. Dylan Fisher is our second retirement of the day. It's a real shame for him. Qualified 8th and started 7th due to Reed Muller's penalty, but an unforced error in the bus stop chicane, and then it seems to have gone from bad to worse from there, and lost our second car of the day. Here we go. So up to the final again. So we've got, he's tucked right under him now, is Reed Muller. See what his exit's like out of this is Meshida. Oh, now on board with Reed Muller now. Yeah, he just hasn't gotten close at all. So through Eau Rouge and Radion we go.
It seems that the SCMM car has got good traction out of the corners. That's at least what I also saw in Monaco. It was very hard, you know, to stay on them.
Yeah, just nowhere near. This could be Max Reed Muller's afternoon, which would be very, very frustrating indeed for him.
Just look how much he closes up on braking and in corners.
He looks a lot more stable. Look at how
Yeah.
Frigoto is going almost sideways through
Yeah, he's
nowadays.
drifting the car all around.
I think he'd want to be a bit more conservative since he's on the harder compound, but he's throwing that thing about. Whereas Reed Muller looks very, you know, very measured in comparison.
Maybe it's Riedmüller's tactic. Maybe he's just biding his time, you know, waiting for something to happen, for a mistake or something. It doesn't seem, for me at least, that he's trying to overtake at this point.
Now, when a car is adjudged to have breached track limits, on the timing screen it says outlap, and Frigoto says it now. So to me, him running wide at Pouon potentially then might have been a breach for him. Lucas Murdo has also had it on his as well a couple of times. These guys are going to have to be careful because obviously there's lots of runoff, but eventually they will get punished, and you know that automatically they could get a track limits penalty. We saw a couple in Monaco, which you think, well, okay, there's not very many places in Monaco to do that, but obviously you've got a couple of the chicanes. So yeah, they're going to have to keep an eye on that this afternoon.
Yeah, it's more about extending the track than cutting, really.
Yeah, try not to, carrying excess speed through. Putting it out over the exit.
Frigoto is struggling. I mean, you really see it from this perspective.
How tidy he is through Puon. Yeah, that's a little bit tidy this time around. Especially just ahead of them. Gap between Pushka and Poland at the minute is about half a second. Not really deviated much, but he's very close.
Yeah, we just got the info that Riedmüller is too slow on the straights. He's not got the top speed. He seems to be slower even with DRS on the straight.
That frustrating concertina effect again. Right up close to him. Almost on the back of him. Through the bus stop. Just looks like he's not going to be able to make a move.
Yeah, he would need to be beside him and still get the DRS detection.
It does look a little bit closer this time around, but I wonder if it's going to be enough. Here we go, down the Kemmel straight. Opportunity. No, still not close enough and just doesn't have the speed.
Just look at the time on the left side, he's catching up 100, per 500 meters is just not enough. He's not got the top speed.
And now we're getting news that there is drizzle on the track. Rain has gone up to 5%. We do have drizzle. So, certain parts of the track might suddenly get a little bit precarious. Let's see how it goes. But it is now raining at Spa. You'd wonder if this would happen, if there'd be a little spanner in the works. And here it is, 14 laps in. Yeah, this affects things. Rejoin the top two now. Poland and Pushka seem to have pulled clear of Murdo. Pushka's certainly not forcing the issue. He also seems to be biding his time as well.
Yeah, he knows that he can't overtake on track. It's the same case as with Riedmüller. He needs to win on strategy at least, or get second place at least on strategy, I think.
Ruven Meshida is in the pits. The first of our top pack, if you like, to blink.
It seems to be a two-stop for him. It seems to be planned. I don't think he's going to go for wet tires.
See what he comes out on. It looks like it is once again the medium tyres. Yeah. As mentioned, it is raining, so he obviously doesn't feel like it's wet enough to need to change just yet.
Yeah, with 18 cars running, it needs some time, with strong rain, and it seems to be only a light drizzle at the moment.
There's an opportunity here for Gonzalez Cativo. Standing for Beniti Racing, David Yunt standing in for Epic Basilia, and Gonzalez up the inside. Oh, but Yunt stays with him, and they go side by side through Lake Com. Very respectful, very nicely done by both drivers.
Been racing.
Good to see. Oh, I thought Gonzalez was going to have a little bit of a diving lunge into Brussels, but...
Yeah, he's trying to catch him out, but it showed, Giugiano and Bentrida, it's possible. Still, I don't think the penalty for Giugiano was necessary in that sense.
But it's interesting, we've got Meshida in so early to do a two-stop. We're going to see what the gap is and see if any more come through at this point, but were we expecting a two-stop this afternoon? I think, we'd expect most people to try and extend to one if they could.
It's, proved to be the right strategy for them most part of the races, just do one stop, because you can't get the time in, just purely by the tires. So I don't think it will work, honestly.
Which doing 2?
Yeah, I don't think two stop will work for Ruben Meschede. I think it's just too slow. Junt going into the pits?
Junt was also initially on the mediums.
And we also see some other pit crews, but I think it's Cesario, which aren't playing a huge role this race.
It's more white wall tyres there. David Junt. So no one really going outside of their comfort zone just yet. Rain holding at 5%. See what happens. At the minute, Yannis Walborn is managing the race lead. Just over 3.5 seconds from his teammate. Pushka is very much seemingly managing the gap to Poland's second. We have Lucas Murno driving quite solidly in fourth. Gustavo Fragotto in the hard tie. We'll see how far he can extend that. Fifth. And Max Riedmuller just still a second behind Fragotto and not seeming to make any headway at this point. Philip Feckler has been promoted to 7th after Meshede's early pit stop. But Feckler in solid position today. Can Kostek break their duck this afternoon?
He's in a very good position. Giugiano behind has that penalty. He will try to extend his lead over Ben Reader. I think that Feckler could be on for a point this time.
Obviously, with the way the gaps are spreading out, Giugiano, he might still not have ruined his chances at points
long
today.
Yellow in sector 2, but it's away now. I'm just surprised by the gap from Feckler to René Vella. They were very close in Monaco.
Even Meschede looking to sweep round Denny Vella without any issues, and he continues his charge. An important phase of the race. If he's going to do a 2-stop, he doesn't want to be held up at all. So he needs to really make ground. It'll be interesting to see how quickly he can close in on Daniel Benson Reader. And you can see he's going for it, throws it through Brussels there. He's going straight after the other Better Julia. Back with the fight for 5th. Fragotto still holding 5th place. He'll be very happy with how he's doing on those hard tyres. Got his first points last time out with a 7th place in Monaco. Before that had a one-off appearance for Infernal Void. Unfortunately DNF'd Perez. So far, just biding his time this afternoon. And once again, Max Riedmuller incredibly close. It just seems like he's not going to be able to do anything. La Source. The gap just opens out again. Ruben Meschede, another fastest lap from him. Remember, they're going to be burning off all that fuel, so there's no reason why we're going to see fast lap after fast lap towards the end of the race.
I think that Riedmüller's race just it will be the best for him, just to wait, I think at least. I think that Frigotto is fast enough that he doesn't lose too much time, and he needs to hope for rain or something. The car isn't fast enough to be competitive now.
I was going to say, is that what you would do in this situation? Is it just a case of there's not much you can do, just keep going round, bide your time and see if things come your way?
Yeah, he needs to. I mean, he did the same mistake I did in Monaco, and if he does it again here somewhere, he can kiss his championship hopes goodbye. It will be hard as it is, because the races that are coming are all, tend to be low downforce tracks. So yeah, he just needs to get all the points he can.
Absolutely, he's got to play the long game this afternoon. Oh, but look at the closing between them there, the braking. on that Beniti racing car is incredible compared to the SCMM. But then let's watch it in reverse now, I suppose, on the exit of La Source. And there we go. Goodbye, Max Riedmuller.
It's the same like I experienced in Monaco, you know. On the brakes and in the corners, the SCMM seems to be weak, but going out of the corner, you know, it's just you can't keep up. So yeah, we see the display. I think he was just only 5 kph faster on the straight, Riedmuller, so that's not enough.
Another frustrating afternoon in store. The most important thing, as you say, though, he needs to just keep his head this afternoon.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've rejoined us in the virtual commentary box after having raced last time out. In terms of so for most people's frame of reference, I imagine will be almost like the Codemasters F1 games. What are these cars like to drive? Because they look like you could really throw them about.
You can do that. Oh, I think somebody went off.
I think Bartosz just tried to get out of the way quite enthusiastically.
Yeah, he needs to be careful because he's in the way of some people. Yeah, the cars have a lot of downforce, have a lot of grip. It's very hard, you know, to get them loose. You need really to throw them in. Yeah, it's, you know, I would say like just modern Formula One. It's not something that I like that much. You know, I like cars of the past, you know, where you need to battle with it a little bit more. And we got Riedmuller going into the pits, maybe trying an undercut on Frigotto.
But it worked last time out for him against Owen McGorgy in Monaco. Can he do it again today? An important lap ahead. So he's only come in 5 laps after Ruben Meshida. But it's close to the halfway point of the race, so it's more likely he'll be trying to one-stop it.
Yeah, I think this is a one-stop. I mean, Meshida could still try it himself, you know, maybe he's like hoping for some more rain, you know, maybe that way he doesn't have a problem, you know, with the second stop, but Riedmuller, I think, is going for one stop here.
Rain currently holding at 5% at the minute. We'll see how well Max Riedmuller could do. He's got a little bit of space. Not too far down the road from Denny Weller. Hopefully he's got some space to push into, and we'll see. Again, the interesting one is Frigotto is on the hard tyre. You'd imagine he's going to run longer so his final stint can be on the soft tyre. You'd imagine.
He would try to do that. You know, it's just an option with that set, but I'm not sure how fragile those soft tires are. You know, he would need to at least come to like lap 27, 28, I think, for it really to work.
And here comes Ruben Meshida, who's having a look on Gino Gagliardo. Meshida obviously having stopped, potentially on a 2-stop. So he's going to have the fresher tyres, so again he's going to want to clear Gagliardo. Gagliardo with that 5-second penalty. But even if Gagliardo gets overtaken here, he's almost 5 seconds clear of Daniel Benton Reader, but obviously yet to stop both of them. Meshida's surely going to look at making the move on the Kemmel straight here. Stay with him. Clean and tidy through Eau Rouge and Radion.
I think you will see now the top speed difference. I think that Giugiano will almost stay ahead, probably.
Tries to cut across. Ooh.
Yeah, just barely. He just barely overtook him.
I think he felt like he needed to do that, almost like he might have, might have had him alongside him through Lake Com.
Yeah.
Meshida's recovery almost complete.
Oh, and this will be interesting because these guys met in qualifying.
Oh, and Riedmuller is going to be on. The impatient Max Riedmuller returns. He just wants to get past Denny Weller. Obviously, Riedmuller getting that penalty for impeding Weller in qualifying. And that's just lost him time. He needs to... Yeah, needs to think a little bit more out of that. don't think he was going to bully his way through Brussels.
Yeah, I think that Weller and Ben Reader too, I don't think they will make life easy for Reed Miller. Yeah, as I said, I think there is some bad blood now after that qualifying session.
Oh, and two of the front runners are in. Pushka and Volborn are in. Our race leaders in as Reed Miller looking to try and cut on the inside of Blanchimont. He holds it on. Oh, little bang in the side pod there. Messenger in the meantime going for a fastest lap. It's all suddenly happening now. Great move though by Max Reed Miller. First overtake we've seen, and immediately into the pits goes Denny Vella. Out comes Philip Pushka. It looks like Volborn has been kicked out straight to the middle of Mescheder and Fekler. He was pretty comfortable, but I imagine he's not going to lose a load of time. But he's going to make pretty light work of Philip Fekler. Sweeps back onto the racing line. Now Mescheder trying to work his way around, and Fekler doesn't fight that too hard. Around the outside of Malmedy. Very nice from Ruven Mescheder. I think Fekler, considering, you know, he's not been in the points before, he's not going to want any issues. I think he did maybe let Mescheder have that one. They're on different races.
Yeah, you need to drive smart sometimes. You know. At this point, they are not driving the same race, as you say.
Denny Vella back out and immediately past Willami. Running 13th, a solid debut for him. I think he can keep. Oh, I say that. Commentators, Curse has been strong the last couple of races. It was mostly Robin jinxing the drivers out, but I've had a couple this afternoon. So apologies, Paolo, I won't make any further comments as Pascal Polens heads into the pits now from the lead. And Lucas Murdo follows him in also.
Poland needed to wait, I think, one more lap because they were too close together at Holland.
But this is going to fall back in line quite simply. Poland's out. Philip Pushka has managed to get around him. The undercut for Philip Pushka, but the question is he going to lose it immediately down the Kemmel Straight?
It will be hard to defend.
See what he can do immediately is going to be DRS. Both of them probably going to be using push to pass at this point. They're side by side. But Poland sweeps her back through. So close for Philip Pushka. And Gustavo Fragotto on the hard tyre is now our race leader. It might not be for very long. You've got a charging Janis Volborn behind, but Fragotto extending nicely on those hard tyres at the minute.
I don't think he will stay for space for very long with Volborn breathing down his neck.
Worked out perfectly so far for Volborn. He's not got too much to worry about. He's got Ruven Mescheder behind him by 1.5 seconds, but his tyres are going to be so much older. And to be fair, that has worked really nicely for Mescheder. Look at the ground he's made up on everyone else, but is he going to be able to stay there, having stopped on lap 15? And in comes Fragotto, so he's not really extended that much longer than anyone else on the medium tyre. Only one more lap. I'd be surprised if he switches to the softs from here. Go into the pits. Yellow in sector 1, but that seems to have been cleared relatively quickly. Fragotto out and rejoins in 7th place. But it does look like he is on those hard tyres to the end. I wonder what the thinking behind having that hard set instead of the mediums were.
Maybe he just hoped, to have better tire wear than the others. I think he can push harder, and with the driving style that he has, or the car, how it behaves, I think he needs them too. It's just sliding very much everywhere.
Yeah, so it might be out of necessity rather than a strategic play, potentially.
Yeah, I would think so.
So everybody, I believe, now has stopped at least once, with the exception of Ruben Meshida, who stopped on lap 15, and David Yunt on lap 16. Everyone else has come in around the halfway point of the race, essentially one-stop territory. As it stands, the big question is, can Ruben Meshida hold on to the end of the race? And is this how it's going to play out, or will people, change up their strategy? Rain's still holding at 5%. It is still drizzling on the track, but certainly not enough to cause any issues in terms of the tyre selection. So we will just have to see if that causes any issues between now and the end of the race.
I think that Meshida is just hoping, for rain, so that's going to be his strategy, I think. But I don't think that he will make it to the end without rain. I think he needs to pit. Or if he tries, he will fall down the grid. And Villami is in the pits.
That might be his second stop of the afternoon.
Maybe he's going for a 3-stop, which would surprise me, honestly.
It stuck with mediums all afternoon. Imagine he's going to again. There they are, the white tyres. Down 16th. See what he can do with the fresh rubber from there. Well, it might be an unremarkable debut for him in the Scuderia Cesario. Good running time for him. Hopefully he can a few more places this afternoon. Build from there, although that is the commentator's curse is it's so strong.
Yeah, I mean, but it must be said he's doing better than Coppetta, who got, I think, already 2 penalties, so he's at least keeping out of trouble.
Absolutely out of trouble on the lead lap. We can build from there. Pascal Polens, though, has reeled in Ruben Meshida on. I mean, look at the closing speed already before DRS is even open on the fresher tyres. And that was easy. Very calmly done, and it is back to a Holland Racing team 1-2. And nothing short of any rain, it's just simple race management for them from here on out now, surely.
I think Holland 1-2 is pretty much guaranteed if nothing major happens. Themselves, those 2 guys, they are, sure-footed enough to bring it home, and if there is no rain, I think it's a 1-2 for them. As sad as it is for the entertainment.
Oh, well, this is the thing about racing. Not every single race that we have is going to be a classic, or and I think we've been very lucky, to be fair, so far this season. I think only this and so far it's not been uneventful, but I would say this and Bahrain have been the 2 least eventful races of the season so far. Every other race has had drama or interesting moments and strategy all the way through, and that's the nature of motorsport sometimes, real or virtual. It's you go for a race, it's not always going to be entertaining, but it's just another part of the story. It's just another chapter in this season.
Yeah, and we got 2 newcomers battling it out right now.
Good to see how these 2 race together. So Villami seems to... Oh, wow. That's what you call extending. Villami out. Seems to have reeled in Lassiter very quickly. See if any Villami can make a move happen here. Oh, Villami pushing really hard. That was another question, actually, in terms of it. So you mentioned about the levels of grip. Is dirty air very prevalent when you're following closely?
From what I've heard from the others, it is. In Monaco, it's not as big as of a problem. But what I've heard, it is an issue with these cars, even though they got a lot of floor downforce with the Venturi effect. Yeah, and I think that's also the problem for the cars with high downforce, that they're struggling to keep close to overtake then, and a Holland car just comes up and just straight overtakes them on the straight, with maybe half a second being behind them. So yeah, it's just the nature of modern racing.
That was a fine move from Milan. He's done a great job. He's having to defend now, though, down the Kemmel Straight. Reached back onto the racing line. Lattinen just couldn't get back alongside.
You should be careful to stay on track.
He was having a bit of struggle in the dirty
air
then as well.
is in the pits. Second stop.
There it is. Lap 28. So he's going to have to do, essentially, all of that again. And, considering how quick some of the front runners are, he's definitely not going to be able to jump a few. So let's see where he comes out. I think Fekler's going to get round. Gajano potentially as well. No, Gajano doesn't. So, back in the points. From there, I can imagine he's at least going to has got a good chance of making his way back up to 5th on the fresher tyres. Maybe Murdo and 4th are to push. But it is dependent on, rain.
I think Riedmüller is realistic that he gets him, but 6.5 seconds to Mono, I think it's a little bit too much. I'm not sure how much he can cut into the lead of the others. I think at least 1 second the tires are worth, but
and obviously they're not going to stay that fresh forever.
Yeah, that's the problem.
With Philip Fekler though, and he's had a fine afternoon. Flashes of brilliance in qualifying. A solid position outside of the top 10, but has managed to work his way into the top 10. Has been there most of this afternoon. He's hoping he can stay there and become the first point scorer for Costech in the WMSC. Yeah, a fine result for him. He'll have to handle the charging Ruven Meshida very, very soon.
He just needs to let him through. If he's smart about it, he's got no pressure from behind. Giugiano has a penalty, Ben Reader then behind him. He just needs to keep this on track and bring it home, and he's got that 1 point.
Absolutely, he does. Meshida just closing in. I don't know if he's going to be close enough this time around on the Kemmel Straight. I'll see. The Costech is pretty good in a straight line.
Yeah, but I don't think he will fight it very much. I think next lap, Meshid overtakes him.
Thought he very sensible the last time Meshida came through. Imagine it will be same again. Closing in, extra grip on those tyres. Ruven Meshida, he's with him. Maybe we'll have a chance to look into the bus stop.
Yeah, up to Blanchimont or latest at the bus stop. You just need to be careful with the track limits, I'm not sure, where the game draws the line, but they're extending quite a lot.
They are, and I know there was a lot of instances of it happening in Australia, and they looked at maybe just lowering it slightly so it wasn't too harsh. But we've already had people, continue to get punished since then. So we'll see. I haven't noticed anyone else with those issues this afternoon.
Yeah, but you saw here, for example, he's got no chance without DRS. But now, going to the Kemmel Straight, I think that will be it.
So, the Meshida going with a slightly wider entry so he can get a good run out. tighter exit. He's right with him through Eau Rouge and Radion. Very much in the slipstream. DRS is going to open any second now. There it is. And as you can see, the optimal isn't the best in a straight line, but he's on the right side of the track. And as you say, Fekler not fighting that one too hard. They immediately come up on Bartosz Karpeta, and Karpeta out of the way very promptly.
Something that caught my eye is the gap between Puška and Poland. It's at 9 seconds, and they were like, right next to each other to the pit stops.
Yeah, it's interesting because Puška stayed with Poland all the way through that first stint.
Yeah.
And Poland seems to have blown him away as Knezevic up the inside of Aaron Curtis. A nice solid move into Lake Com there. 13th for Gonzalez Knezevic. With Lucas Murno now. Murno only 1.1 seconds away from Filip Puška. This is interesting. Puška, went in on the same lap as Janis Walborn. Obviously 1 lap before Pascal Polens, but for whatever reason, this second stint is not really going for him as well. As Ruben Mesheder, another fastest lap on his charge to try and get back into the top 5. But Lucas Murno with a chance at a podium this afternoon. He's improved race on race this season. His best result so far, he's had 2 5th places, 1 in Jerez and 1 in Bahrain. 6th last time out in Monaco, despite, multiple penalties and losing a wing. So could Lucas Murno get another personal best this afternoon?
I'm not sure what is going on with Puška. He seems to be struggling.
Yeah, this is very odd. There's no discernible reason that we're aware of why he should be. And I believe that on the live timing, rain has dropped to 0%, so the drizzle seems to have passed. But yeah, I'm not sure. Aleksandar in the pits again. That is, I believe, his 3rd pit stop, or 2nd pit stop, that is, sorry. I know we've seen him go in the pits more than once, but timing certain that he's going to be is only his 2nd stop. Timing also says he's going onto the soft tyre. We'll see in a second if that's the case. Got Rene Vella with him. And they're going to go side by side through Eau Rouge and Radion. They are. Weller does not back out. He decides, well, you know what, my tyres are a little bit fresher. I'll have that, but can Lattinen maybe fight back? Yeah, it does look like Lattinen is on the softer tyre. Oh no! Well, we're getting mixed messages there. So we've got hard tyres there. Oh, there it's updated. Yes, he is on the soft tyre. Going to see what he can do on the softest compound available to him. And Lucas Murno is past Filip Puška. What a moment that is for Lucas Murno and Infernal Void Racing. And what is happening to Filip Puška? We'll hopefully get that move again in a second. But fantastic work this afternoon from Lucas Murno.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what is going on with Puška. I mean, I think he's dropped more than 1 second per lap to the Holland cars.
Yeah, definitely sparks of something being wrong.
What I could imagine that he probably thought it's gonna rain, that he underfueled the car. That's the only thing I could imagine.
Yeah, and he's just trying to save fuel. Here we go. As we've seen most of the overtakes this afternoon, down the Kemmel Straight, Murno right on the back of Puška. DRS open. And he overtakes the Monaco winner with relative ease. Next lap around, it doesn't look like Puška is fighting back or in a position to do so.
Damage can't have. I mean, he didn't touch Poland's, and the walls are far away here. I'm really not sure. It's a mystery to me, to be honest.
I'd say your guess of maybe underfueling seems like the best one at this point, unless he's having some other real world technical issues with his setup. That's the only other thing it could be, maybe.
It's maybe one or another option, but
David Yunt in the pits, lower down in the order. From 13. Allow Malami up a place. Don't think much more. There's a big gap back to Rene Weller. And it looks like Yunt is onto the super softs there. Few of the drivers out of contention, maybe just going for a drive on the low fuel and the fastest tyres. Seeing if they can maybe snatch a fastest lap away from someone. I believe he's still with Meshida.
That's always a possibility, but I'm not sure. Is there a point for fastest lap?
I actually can't remember. I'm going to double check. We've.
I don't think so, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think there is either. So it's purely for pride if that's what they're going for. Yeah, the point scoring is the top 8. The point scoring system F1 used kind of the late noughties. So 10 for a win, 8 for second. Then it goes 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as Ruven Meshida sweeps past Gustavo Fragoto on the fresher tyres compared to Fragoto's hards.
He will try to catch Reed Miller. I think he will catch up to him, but let's see if he can overtake him. Yeah, don't think he can go after Pushke. It's just too big of a gap.
Been a good recovery though this afternoon for Ruven Meshida. I think he's gone to the 2-stop clearly thinking, well, you know what, I'm starting lower down the grid. I need to obviously ride the tyres a bit harder, so he's just committed to a 2-stop early. If he can still manage 5th place, I think he can be very happy, considering he started lower down the order back in 9th.
Yeah, and maybe, like I said, he hoped for some, funny weather, and maybe it could have worked out for him, but
Gujano, he'll have 5 seconds added onto his time at the end of the race. So, if he can get past Philip Feckler, he's got time to try and open out a gap and cruelly snatch away Kostek's first points of the season. First thing he's got to do, though, is get past Philip Feckler. He's sat behind Feckler for large parts of this race. We'll see if Feckler is maybe a little bit more keen to defend this one harder.
well, it would be better for him to just stay in front,
Yep, closing. Let's see if Gujano looks. I think he's a bit too far back. Gujano might struggle. We'll correct it out, Malmedy.
It's not easy to follow somebody. It's not something you want to do for too long.
Oh, I've noticed Bartosz Karpeta has retired, not because it says DNF on the timing sheet, but he said hello to us in stream. Hello, Bartosz. Good afternoon. Got Max ahead above saying no. I'm not sure what that's in relation to. If you can let us know what that no was in relation to, Max, that'd be good to know. Thank you to everyone who has joined us this afternoon. Really appreciate it. I saw that Robin was also in the chat. I'm not sure if he's still there, but hope you enjoyed your holiday, Robin. Good to have you with us still. And Bartosz having to retire because of massive latency issues, apparently. when the other drivers were lapping. We saw some of the movements out of the way, but I was just trying to get clear out of the way. Oh, and it's a very awkward final corner there for Philip Fekler. He's out of shape, and this is a real opportunity for Gino Gagliano.
Yeah,
Doesn't look into the source.
He locked up his inside tire, but you know, he just needs to keep his head. You know, even if Giugiano gets through, just drive on with his race. But what I wanted to say, Pushke is keeping Muno honest. You know, he's still there or thereabout, 1 second behind him.
That maybe does suggest it's fuel. Maybe he's gonna managing fuel and might look to try and make a move towards the end. Oh, Gagliano thought about going for a move very, very late there and had to just bail out. And Philip Fekler now has a little bit of breathing room. Very last-minute, half-hearted look from Gagliano there.
I think that Giugiano probably is also frustrated, you know, because he knows even if he overtakes him, he gets the penalty, and you know, just being stuck behind him, yeah, doesn't get the motivation up.
Time running out. Fekler just a few laps away. The main story this afternoon is, as expected, Holland Team Racing have been lightning quick, and I cannot compliment anyone for too long because the commentator's curse is indeed alive and well.
Yeah, I don't think that you can curse them enough. They seem to have everything in hand. 11 seconds back to Murno. But yeah, it seems to be like the tale of this season. Wilborn, you know, he's doing it pretty much like Jim Clark, you know, putting it on pole and just controlling the race. You know, even if he isn't on pole, he's very strong. You need to count him in always. And Poland's just missing that little bit. You know, I expected it, you know, him to push him a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's only been 2 instances this season where Poland's has finished ahead of his teammate. First was in South Africa in the heavy rain. In fact, Poland's got pole, couldn't hold off Reed Muller for the win. And then Jerez was the only other one. Jerez, you know, in a fight for second place, but otherwise, Wilborn has been very strong. Back-to-back race winner, as our only back-to-back race winner so far this season. He is lucky to become the first person to reach 3 WMSC wins this afternoon. And even after those 2 wins, yes, he's not been on the top step since Canada, but 2nd, 5th, 3rd, solid consistency. Exactly what you need to try and take the title.
And no wins for Poland, as far as I know.
Nope, 3 second places. In fact, he's done South Africa, Bahrain, and Spain. 3 second places and 2 thirds. So only failed to score points once at the opening round in Australia. So he's been incredibly consistent, but just not on the top step. As Gino Gagliano seems to be lining up Philip Fekler again. He's caught up, and he's going to try and catch him off guard to La Source. But looks like a decent move. He runs him out of road. I think he's very entitled to do so with the amount of space he had. But now Philip Fekler's going to have DRS, and I think probably has the faster car in a straight line. So Fekler might come back. Let's see. DRS line here. We head towards Les Combes. He might be too far back. Gagliano, a little bit of weaving, but I think that's just about within the limits. And now this is going to be the interesting point. So Gagliano has the move done. Fekler, can he stay within 5 seconds? Keep that point, or will Gagliano take it away? Yasser Latin in the meantime with a penalty. I imagine that's going to be track limits. So the game does have a limit, but I wonder how big that limit is.
I would think so that Fekler can keep up. No, he would need to pull out 1 second a lap. I don't think that Giugiano is that much faster.
Well, the minute the gap at 1.5, but obviously I think there's going to be a little bit of issue with Feckler, just being in the dirty air for a couple of corners, but a little bit out of shape there on the exit of Campus, but if he can keep his head, I agree, he should be able to kind of stay close enough.
And he's gaining on the straights anyway, so...
The track limit, we're being told by Bartosz, is 5 points, which, fair enough, seems about right, but we've seen a lot of cars extending the track this afternoon and maybe not getting penalised.
Yeah, it's just a question where the line is drawn.
And if you back off, it doesn't give you the penalty, does it? I believe, as well as Meshida has finally caught up with Riedmuller.
Yeah, I think 5th place will be Mercedes, but that's it for him. What's also interesting to see, Poland is catching up to Volbron.
Now we've speculated about team orders, and it doesn't seem there has been many. Poland's has been helpful to Volborn on some occasions in terms of Volborn's been ahead. Poland's has been a good rear gunner in terms of holding people up. But in terms of them racing each other, we've not seen anything definitive either way of if, Volborn is the man. At the minute, the Constructors looks very
secure.
Comfortably there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I know Volborn, I don't think he will let him through, not even when the championship is decided. Those two guys are very competitive, and for them, I don't think it feels right if they win a race, being let through by the teammate. Somebody in the pits. It's Latanen for the penalty, I suppose.
It seems like, and Latanen could just see it through to the end. First finish for the Potenza Esport Corsa team, while Meshida right behind Riedmuller through Eau Rouge and Radion. He's pulling out before the DRS line's even there. And it looks like that move is almost done and dusted. Will we see Riedmuller try and fight back? Don't think so. Meshida is still going to have the fresher tyres of the two. Fine work. We have just over 3 laps to go.
It's getting close for Feckler. The gap is getting quite large.
Got 2 gaps to look at this point. So Pushka is 4 seconds away from Murno, that seems like a tall order, but we'll keep an eye on it. And as you say, Feckler, gap up 4.1 to Gajano. Are they going to miss out on a point for the first time again this afternoon? So close. But as you say, the penalty for Gajano was slightly harsh.
It felt, at least for me. I'm also surprised by the pace of the Beta Julias. I don't know if they got damage or something, but they seem kind of off pace.
Yeah, definitely expecting more from both of them. Benson Reader got his personal best finish of the season last time out in Monaco with a 5th place. Not been with it today, but the gap holding now about 4.5 seconds. Philip Feckler is on the edge of the point. He just needs to try and keep going as best he can. Head down. Oh, Daniel Benson Reader just behind him. Hopefully he doesn't get too worried about that. In the meantime, the gap between Murno and Pushka is about 4.8, so that's not coming down.
He was 1 second behind him at one point. He lost out again, but I think top 5, top 6 are set in stone. Yeah. Just interesting to see what will happen for the last point.
A little bit sideways there, and the gap now goes over 5 seconds. Philip Feckler. A little bit messy. Do you think? I'm not sure what what lap Feckler stopped on. His tyre is a little bit worse for wear at this point.
I think he's stopped in lap 20, if I'm mistaken. Now he's out of the window.
Trying to nurse it round at this point.
But he doesn't seem to be, too slow. I mean, Benrieder is not catching, and Villami overtook Curtis on track, I think. Oh, they're changing places.
Exchanging. Oh, and they've both gone off at Lake Com. And David Yunt now with an opportunity. Is that Yunt? Yeah, he is. So he's now in the mix. I think we have a three-way fight for 13th. But Villami has gotten the move done in a somewhat unorthodox way. Yunt's now maybe come and take it off. Lovely tidy there. Well, Lamy just, we'll be happy to hopefully get over the line to finish today. Good starting point. Dari are looking to rebuild their season. Apologies. Oh, there's a little sound bug. Quickly as we can. Yunt. Oh, looking to go around the outside of Blanchimont. Lamy manages to hold him off. Will Yunt look to outbrake into the bus stop? Lamy he goes defensive, but he's just compromised his position way too much. And Yunt just takes the racing line and sweeps away.
Is it raining? It's raining a little bit now.
It does look suddenly darker. And it's back to 5% rain again, so shouldn't cause too many issues for the guys before the end of the race.
Villami seems to be struggling a lot on traction.
Lucas Murno looking to get his first podium of the season, starting the final lap.
I think Beckler lost out this point, sadly. 8 seconds now.
Such a shame for Philip Feckler, so close. He's had such a strong afternoon. In the meantime, been a very strong afternoon that's gone very much to plan for Yannis Volborn. A fine pole lap. And hasn't lost the lead apart from within the pit sequence. Well, he's been on it all afternoon and he's looking very comfortable. Poland's just there, they're just guiding it home. Dominant in the constructors, but a big moment this afternoon in terms of the Drivers' Championship, because I believe for the first time, I think that's going to put Yannis Volborn over a race win ahead of his rivals. A big moment for him. Really change things going forward. This afternoon has very much followed the form book. And even a little bit of rain hasn't stopped them. Holland Racing Team in fine form indeed. Yannis Volborn becomes our first 3-time race winner in the WMSC, and he wins in Belgium. Pascal Poland's making it a Holland Racing Team 1-2, and now we wait for Lucas Murno. We called him the fan favourite, and this is going to be a very popular third place indeed. Congratulations, Lucas. First podium for him at Infernal Void Racing. Pushka now across the line for fourth. Looked like he could have maybe had a chance at second, but seemed to fade away. Ruben Meshida, all just right behind Pushka by the end. Max Riedmüller sixth. Disappointing afternoon for him. Manages to gain 2 places on 7th. Frigotto, solid work from him, 7th, second points finish in a row for SCMM. While Gino Gagliardo, it looks like he's done enough. Although I wouldn't go too slow, Gino. He's still got 5 seconds, get across the line. And that surely is going to be 8th place for him. And Feckler. Feckler's dropped.
He is dropping down Benrieder.
Oh. Philip Fekler, that's such a shame. He's had such a strong afternoon. Oh, I wonder what's happened there.
In third gear, I think he's out of fuel. Could it be?
Having to wait. I think we'll just see yellow flags in that final sector towards the end of the race. You're not supposed to leave before the end. Bellamy looked like he's going to come home for 13th on his debut. Solid work from him. And yeah, I've just had confirmation. I believe it's no fuel for Philip Fekler. Unfortunately, that's such a shame. Let's see if we can get our race winner in for a quick chat. Now the results after 43 laps. Yannis Walborn leads home a Holland Racing Team 1-2. Pascal Polans with his 4th second place of the season. Lucas Murno, his first ever podium, 3rd place, a personal best result. Philip Pushka in 4th. Ruven Meshida comes home 5th. A good 2-stop in the end, getting him back in after qualifying lower down. Max Riemer has to settle for 6th. Gustavo Fragotto and Gino Gajano see out the point scoring positions for SCMM. Better Julia then see out the top 10 after the late demise of Philip Fekler. Gonzalez Gativo is 11th for Maniti. David Yunt, Paolo Wallami on his debut 13th. Aaron Curtis in the other Infernal Void in 14th. Rene Vella is in, wow, that must be a graphical glitch because I imagine Fekler's going to slot into 15th. Then the other Kostek of Rene Vella, Jassa Latanen, Bartosz Karpeta, Dylan Fisher, and Brody Lawless DNFing at the end.
Trying to get the race winner on board. One moment.
So the rain only slightly came, but didn't really threaten too much this afternoon.
Yeah, it was surprising. I thought that it will come, especially, that drizzle when it came in, it looked pretty dark, but yeah, it stayed only a little drizzle, and it maybe took, away the chance, for some more entertainment and action, but yeah, in the end, it was very well deserved for the Holland guys. They look very strong for the coming races.
Absolutely, the next couple of races are tracks that will suit the car.
Just jump to their channel. Yeah, he wrote me. I'll move him.
And we are now joined by Yannis Volborn. Yannis, congratulations. We have to admit, we didn't see too much of it this afternoon because it was, a very solid drive. It looked like the form book was very much going to be leaning your way this afternoon in terms of the type of track. Yeah, how was that for you? How did that race go from your perspective?
The most critical point was the start. Source, and then I used my push to pass to defend off Philip, and then the race just went.
Yeah, it seemed like you didn't have many problems up front. Was it just a case of managing your pace, or were you pushing hard, or was it just a case of consistency?
Yeah, we planned a 2-stop, but found out that the 1-stop, the medium tire, is very good in the race, and then we changed to the 1-stop, and we were driving a bit slower than we could have done.
Oh, fair enough. So what prompted the change? Was it just the general tire wear? Was it seeing other people? Because only Ruven really went in to try the 2-stop. Was it just seeing how well the tire was going?
We saw the tire wear and thought, it's not worth it to do the 2-stop and to take any risks because we also had track position. So it was an easy decision for us then.
Now, we had a little bit of rain on the scanner. It said like 5% rain and a bit of drizzle. How was it out there for you? Was it noticeable, or was it effectively like driving a dry race?
Yes, actually it was. especially at the end now. Track